Then President Trump's travel bans immediately sparked confusion, a type of rolling chaos, those protests at U.S. airports and around the country. The ban was paused by courts. It was later narrowed. The Trump child separation policy was a crackdown to quite specifically punish and discourage migration by elevating cruelty against children as a type of policy. Now, Kamala Harris, a former prosecutor and current policymaker, is citing all of that and putting this through her platform and her campaign and her megaphone, if you will, on the front burner and urging people to look at that past, to consider how it would shape the future in a Trump second term. Well, she did this while addressing the Congressional Hispanic Caucus today. Here is, as promised, that warning about Donald Trump's mass deportation plan.
Donald Trump and his extremist allies will keep trying to pull us backward. We all remember what they did to tear families apart. And now they have pledged to carry out the largest deportation, a mass deportation, in American history. Imagine what that would look like and what that would be. How's that going to happen? Massive raids? Massive detention camps? What are they talking about?
What are they talking about? A fair question. Harris, again, invoking the history to look at the choice about our future as a country, as a society. And she's confronting those risks, taking on Trump and the details, the serious actual content of Project 2025 seriously. You can't just kind of convince everyone to read the whole thing. And at the DNC, and different nights, they hit different pieces of it. But this is a substantive conversation. You can be a nonpartisan, fair-minded, open-minded person and say, okay, what's in Project 2025? What does the deportation crackdown look like? How does that affect us? And is that what you want to vote for? Then, in the same address today, Kamala Harris broadened out to the plans and the debates over abortion rights, health care, and taxes.
Many of these Trump abortion bans that make no exception for rape or incest, it's immoral. It's immoral. If she chooses, she will talk with her priest, her pastor, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government telling her what to do. They will also give billions of dollars of tax cuts to billionaires and corporations, massive tax cuts, pardon January 6th perpetrators who attacked our Capitol not far from here. And I'm sure many of you saw the debate. So on that point about the Affordable Care Act, all based on concepts of a plan.
Concepts. And what you see there, as we've put together for you some of the key points Kamala Harris is making in that new address today, and the history and the tone matters. Again, I always try to keep it straight and tell you what we found, what the evidence shows, and what's happening. And what you see there is Kamala Harris's ability to bridge from the serious to the joyous, from the urgent warning to some lighter fare. That's part of the big contrast. And Harris and her team see the contrast as the key overarching message in this home stretch. They want a clear contrast, just as she did in that new interview at the National Association of Black Journalists. Like the debate, it embodied, it featured as reality, not just rhetoric, a contrast with Donald Trump's appearance before that same group. And like the debate, once you see the back and forth, it is hard to unsee.
I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you?
First of all, let me just say it is good to be with the National Association of Black Journalists, and I thank you for the work you do and that your members do every day.
I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson.
So I appreciate the spirit of the question, but I'll tell you, I've often been asked this question in a way that I've had to respond by first saying that I think it's very important.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question,
no,
a very direct question.
Define it for me.
When you are bestowed with a microphone that is that big, there is a profound responsibility that comes with that.
A profound responsibility. And let's be clear, responsibility, how you do your work, your professionalism, your fairness. In the case of the U.S. government, what happens when you take that oath of office, and do you take that responsibility seriously? All of that's different than ideology. And on that score, we have more news for you tonight. Kamala Harris is continuing to draw support based on responsibility from more top Republicans. You can see the headlines backing Harris, calling Trump unfit to serve. And that is precisely because, in their own words, they view Donald Trump as irresponsible with our national security. The New York Times covering over 100 new endorsements from Republican former members of Congress, former defense secretaries, leadership of the CIA, a group that joins one of the top hawks in the GOP, Dick Cheney, who recently endorsed Harris. This is Iraq War, Bush, oil guy, Dick Cheney. And that embrace, let's be clear, has come despite, not because of policy differences. It comes as Harris's coalition spans from the right edge of the Republican Party to the center, to the left of the Democratic Party as well, to cultural figures that can fill stadiums, from Taylor Swift to the new endorsement from pop star Billie Eilish this week. They joined Dick Cheney. And so, I told you before, we can go from the serious to the lighter tone. Let me just ask you straight up, seriously, who else, in fact, what else in our entire country could bring these three together on anything? I'm serious. I'm talking Swift, Cheney, Eilish. They do not agree on foreign policy or abortion policy or music policy. You won't see these three backstage together at the earnings presentation for that oil company, Halliburton, that Cheney ran. You won't see them backstage at the Coachella Music Festival, which Eilish headlined. The one thing that brings them together is their shared belief that Kamala Harris should be the next president, not Donald Trump. And they're taking those positions, by the way, even at the risk of disagreeing with or upsetting their base. Quite literally. Dick and Liz Cheney spent their whole lives in Republican circles. We know that. They are taking that risk and disagreeing with those people, most of whom statistically tend to still vote partisan, and saying, wait, not this cycle. They're saying, yes, we all voted Republican for decades in a row, but this cycle, you should vote Harris, not Trump. That's what the Cheneys are saying. And then on the other side, plenty of conservatives and Republicans buy music and go to concerts. So it is more than unusual. It's actually striking to see this organic, broad groundswell for Kamala Harris. And the Trump allies, they're upset. Trump says he hates to see this happen. Now he hates Taylor Swift. Before, he was lying and claiming he got her endorsement because he understands that's a good thing in politics right now. So they lie and they pretend now. They say maybe they don't want these endorsements. Let's be clear. They do, and they're worried about the impact. And while they spent the summer, Republicans did, kind of gloating over what they thought was their preferred matchup against Biden, now they're waking up to a living nightmare. A resurgent Kamala Harris, I should say. A Taylor Swift hit that is featuring Dick Cheney and Billie Eilish was not on Republicans' bingo cards for the home stretch of this campaign. It's obviously good for Harris. Doesn't mean she will win. As I've told you, we're going to follow the evidence where it goes, but it is what momentum is made of. And it reflects something wider. As another artist put it this year, when it comes to connecting with the public's views, in this case, Taylor and others supporting Harris, it's not just me. I'm what the culture feeling. And that broader American culture matters. You can ask voters. You can ask the political experts. You can ask our lead anchor, Rachel Maddow.
Taylor Swift.
Are you enjoying your rent-free existence in Donald Trump's head?
The singer Billie Eilish has joined Taylor Swift in endorsing Kamala Harris for president.
Vote and elect Kamala Harris.
Vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Something
is happening here, and what it is actually pretty clear. and the breadth is clear. Jane Fonda, you can see, was out knocking on doors for Harris Walls. Back in the day, she was someone with a cultural following, a political activist, a young woman, initially sometimes attacked and dismissed. They tried to silence her. They failed. Billie Eilish is 22 years old, and you see her there with her brother, using her platform, encouraging her over 100 million Instagram followers to register, to get out there and to vote for Harris. So this is making waves, particularly among a key plank of the Obama coalition that Harris is trying to rebuild, young voters.
Billie Eilish and her brother endorsed Kamala Harris, which was cool.
Just vote. Just vote. Just vote.
Just read.
I know I'm going to be out, so just vote.
Duh.
Well. Billie Eilish came out today encouraging people to register to vote.
You can see some of the excitement. The point isn't that everyone has to agree. The whole point is that people who disagree about so much, from Dick Cheney to Billie Eilish to Taylor Swift, are agreeing on Harris over Trump.